to build an ark? And these are just common sense questions, right? Because he could have just went elsewhere, right? If it was just local, that was a lot of time and effort put into something when he could have went somewhere where the flood wasn't. Same is true for the animals. Why did God send them to the ark when he could have just sent them somewhere else where the flood wasn't? Now, the third point, though, with this, and I think is the most crucial for us to understand, is after the flood was over, God put a rainbow in the sky. And that rainbow, regardless of what the culture says today, that rainbow was a sign that he would never flood the world again. It was a sign of his promise, okay? So every time we see a rainbow, that's what we need to think. It's a sign of God's promise to us that he would never flood the world again. Now, have we had lots of local floods since Noah's day? Yeah, okay. We live near the Ohio River here. I live over on the Indiana side, and sometimes it's challenging to get to work because the river floods the roadway, and it's hard to get past that. So we've had lots of local floods since Noah's day. So if Noah's flood was a local flood, and God put a rainbow in the sky and said he'd never do this again, what's the problem? God has broken his promise many times over, right? Because we've had lots of local floods since Noah's day. And the problem with that is God doesn't lie. God doesn't break his promises. We know that from Scripture. So it cannot have been a local flood, and there's no reason to think it was a local flood from the text. Because it says all flesh that is on the earth, everything that is on the earth shall die. I think that's pretty clear, okay? It says that all the high hills under the whole heaven were covered. About 15 cubits upward, that's about 23, 25 feet. So take a look at this picture and think about how that works when you have a local flood, okay? Does water work like this? No. Or act like this, right? I mean, if you have a bathtub and you turn the water on and you don't turn the water off, does it stop when it gets to the top of the tub? No, right? Because water seeks its own level, okay? It's not going to do this. This is not how water works. So you can't have it just the high hills where Noah lived, okay? It's going to have to be something that's universal to make that statement as it's read in Scripture. And again, like I said, it's clear. Only Noah and those who were with him in the ark remained alive. We go to the New Testament. We could look at Jesus and his disciples talking about this event, and they use the exact same terminology. So it's clear that we are talking about a global catastrophic flood, that only Noah and his family and the animals on the ark survived that, or at least the air-breathing, land-dwelling animals survived that.